Black people, Miami is not really for you.
If you're a Black person and you're considering visiting or living in Miami and you don't really understand how this city works, let me break it down for you. I've lived in Miami pretty much my entire life. This is just the lay of the land. Number one, if you're going out, you're going to find Black people in pockets, in certain clubs, certain restaurants, certain spaces. And depending on the community you're in, you'll find them there. For example, if you go to a Victory Lounge, you're looking for, Black people, you want to eat, you want to have a lounge experience. If you go to Jamaican parties, you're going to find Jamaican people. It's not a city where Black people are everywhere. If you're trying to go out and you're trying to find other people, you're going to have to look up Miami Black blank if that's the type of music you're going to go to.
I'm not exactly sure of the Miami party promoter drama that's going on TikTok right now, but I want to give my 2 cents in. As someone that grew up in Florida and as a dark-skinned queen, for years, I've been saying that Miami is by far the worst city for Black women in America. Specifically, if you're...
Hi guys, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. I am Michelle, and if you're watching me for the first time, kindly don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and even comment. So guys, in today's clip, we are going to see some Black people living in Miami coming out and telling us their experience and their struggles in Miami. They are trying to show us, and they are trying to explain to us how Miami is, and how Miami is how Miami is, and you should be prepared when you're planning to go to Miami, what you will experience. So guys, let's watch the video and come back for more.
You would think because you're in Florida and it's diverse and there's a lot of culture, that living in an environment like that would be positive for Black women. But I have not had more discriminatory experiences in nightlife than I have in Florida, and I live in Texas now, and that's literally why I live in Texas now. I had to move across the country just to get treated fairly in nice places. I have literally been kicked out of a section for being dark-skinned. The men treat you differently, the women treat you differently. Everyone thinks that they're better than you because they're lighter than you. And you're gonna be like, oh no, that's just your insecurities. No, babes. I came to Dallas, Houston, and was treated like the bad bitch 1,000 out of 10 that I am. I mean, getting invited into sections, getting free drinks, party promoters reaching out to me to come out. But in Florida, you would think I was begging on my hands and knees to get let into this club. So I'm glad that Florida specifically is being ousted as the racist state that it is. I mean, racism and colorism is everywhere, but they don't care about it in Florida. They literally promote it. You can go to a Black-owned place of business and no woman there will not be darker than a paper bag. And they will treat you like scum as a dark-skinned person, as a dark-skinned woman, and their establishment, as if you're not giving them your green money. So that's my...
Y'all hear about how those Hispanics treated Black people at Ryder's Logistics? It was horrible. They made they created 2 different production lines. One for Hispanics, where the Hispanics was doing all the easy work, and then another production line for the Black people, where they did all the hard labor. And then on top of that, they make the Black people work 16-hour shifts. They wouldn't give them breaks. Matter of fact, they were really derogatory, telling them, oh, you're big and Black, you don't deserve a break. You could work through it. And then this Black woman, she told her testimony how they used to call her ancient mama and the N-word in Spanish. And she reported it to her supervisors, but her supervisors were also Hispanic. And you know what they told that Black lady? Oh, that's their culture. Oh, it's your culture to be racist, anti-Black. They treated all the Black people there horribly. right? Even the black man, they called them silverback gorillas and was waving bananas at them. Like, and nobody did anything about this. Because mind you, the supervisors are also Hispanic. It's our culture. The white man had to step in and hit him with that lawsuit. Look it up. Riders Logistics lawsuit, Southern California.
The black workers also were doing the heaviest or the hard manual labor, heavy lifting, and the non-black workers were doing the lights, easy work, light work. We were working these long hours and sweating, and the supervisors wouldn't let the black workers get water or take bathroom breaks. We had to wait. They said, "You're big and black."
Black people, Miami is not really for you. So let me tell you something. If you are a black person and you were thinking about moving to Miami or living in Miami or spending any amount of real time here, you need to have a very strong sense of yourself. You need to know exactly who you are. You need to know exactly what the coins are. You need to be prepared to be faced with some of the most outrageous casual racism that you will ever see. It is not the same as it is in DC, LA, New York, etc., where you're dealing with a population that's used to seeing a lot of black people, from upscale black people to ratchets to middle class. They're used to seeing it all. So in Miami, if you're going to, like, let's say a hot spot, if you're going to like a Milo or a Poppy Steak or whatever, you will get clocks from head to toe. They're looking at your watch, they're looking at your shoes, they're looking at your belt, because they cannot comprehend how you would be here. There's no comprehension in Miami in terms of the local scene of black people with real coins, with real money, because they don't see it here. So if you're a black person and you come here and you don't know exactly who you are, then you're going to start seeing things every single day that are going to cause you to start questioning yourself, questioning who you are in the world, questioning your level of attractiveness, all of that stuff. Now, that being said, I think that Miami can be a wonderful place for a lot of people, no matter what your color is. But I really do think that it is a place that is very specific, that is very much not into black people. They will let you know in ways large and small when you are here. So if you're a black person and you're thinking about coming to Miami, just be very clear about the things that you're going to see and the things that you're going to experience. And you cannot let that bother you. You have to be able to shrug it off, because you will see things that you do not see in these other cities.
I just wanted to address this comment that was left on under this post. I in no way I am like negating what this person commented, because historically Miami has been racist. Like, let's talk about how on South Beach, black entertainers couldn't even stay in the hotels, like Fontainebleau. Black people could not stay in those hotels. They would have to cross over the bridge and stay in like Overtown or whatever. So yeah, Miami has historically been racist. Yes. I can only speak from my experience of living in Miami. I've been in South Florida 7 years, but I lived in Miami for 4 of those 7 years. And I personally have not experienced any racism. Now, it's not to say that it's not there, but Miami is also truly neighborhood-wise, it's divided. You know, depending on what neighborhood you live, you will only see certain type of people, and that's just how it is here. I used to live downtown Miami, and in my experience, I used to live and work in downtown Miami, so I would walk to work and walk home from work, and the only black people that I would see besides myself would be the doorman that would greet me when I left my building. People think Miami is so diverse. It is. It's diverse, but like I said, it's very segregated. So when I first came to Miami in 2009, I stayed in South Beach because I didn't know any better. And, you know, that's where everyone goes. And you saw a lot of black people there. You saw a lot of black people on South Beach. But you have to realize that majority of those people on South Beach are tourists and they don't live in Miami. So when I lived in downtown Miami and I was like, yo, where the black people at? Like, I'm asking, like, where black people at? They're not there. They're not there in like downtown. They're not there in like the Brickell area, Coral Gables. Like, it's very few of us. Now, I don't live in that area anymore. The area that I decided to reside in Miami is more of a mixed community, and I'm not the only Black person. And even when I go out to dine or establishments, I try to support just Black owned businesses because the service is usually 100 times better. They understand me and they give me great service. So Miami can be hella racist. So I encourage everyone to support Black owned businesses. When you visit Miami, when you come here and you live here or you're visiting, look up Black establishments to support and spend your dollars there.
Miami is predominantly Hispanic, and they run things. That's just the lay of the land, just what it is. Most of the time, if you just go out to a club on a random day, you're going to find Hispanic people. You're going to listen to Hispanic music. You're going to be in areas, especially affluent areas. It's going to be predominantly Hispanic. Now, there are a lot of tourists that come in and out of the city, but regardless, that's just what it is. With that being said, you can find all different types of food. You may have to drive a little bit, depending on, if you're looking for Haitian food or Jamaican food or Nigerian food. You can find it, but you're going to have to look for it. It's not in every corner. Now, if you want Cuban food or Hispanic food or Pollo Tropical or something, that's everywhere. You can find that everywhere. I always say Miami is not a melting pot. It's a tossed salad. So there's a lot of different cultures here. They're not mixing, but you can find everywhere. Now, is Miami racist? It can be, depending on where you are, what you're doing. I've had instances where I'll go eat with a group of my friends and the waiter or waitress is treating us strange at an establishment I've been to prior. So a lot of times it depends on who you're dealing with. But racism is everywhere, and just because it's not predominantly white people here does not mean that other groups of people do not have discriminatory ideologies towards us. I've been in instances where, I'm with a promoter and we're going to a club and all of a sudden they're turning us away because there's too many Black people in our crew. Like, there are these instances, they're not common, but they do exist, which is why a lot of Black people, when they go out, they just go out to areas where they know people are going to be like them. They don't want to deal with it. They don't have to deal with it. It's just what it is. All in all, I think Miami has, if you're looking for weather preferences, if you like the beach, if you like to shop, if you like to turn up, this is the city for you. If you're looking for something a little bit more artistic, just come for Art Basel and leave. This is not the place to find a jazz spot or a poetry lounge or people who are in that scene. This is not a fashion capital. It's a swimwear capital. This is a place where you're going to see BBLs left, right, and center. This is a place where, people are beautiful, but they may be entitled, but they may lack substance. They may be not people that will go the long way with you. There are exceptions to the rule, like myself, who has grown up in Miami, so I wouldn't say I'm a product of Miami. But in general, finding people with depth here is going to be difficult.
So I'm from New York and I just got back from Miami like a week ago. And I was just sitting back and reflecting on the cultural differences between New York and Miami. And one of the things that I was just thinking about, which nobody really talks about, is this weird underlying obsession with girls being like exotic and foreign. And I really hate using those terms because they just they ick me out. Like, I feel like it dehumanizes people so much when you say shit like, oh my god, you're exotic. I'm not a fucking bird, but for the sake of the video, I'm using those terms because that is word for word what I was hearing other people saying there. I noticed that there was this very strange obsession with being like mixed with something, which I'm really not used to in New York, because I feel like in New York it's like you are what you are and you're very proud of that. Like, if you're black, you're black and you say that and you're proud of that. Like, if you're Latino, you say that you're proud of that. If you're Asian, you're Asian. It's like everything, because it's very diverse, people are very accepting, yada yada yada. In Miami, it was different though. It was like everyone was asking you constantly in your business, like, what are you mixed with? Well, what are you? Are you Latina? Are you, like, I thought it was very bizarre to a degree I had never experienced before. Mind you, I'm Haitian American. I never really get any issues when I tell people I'm Haitian American, other than maybe a couple of ignorant people here and there who make ignorant comments. But like, for the most part, I just say that it's like, okay, conversation is over, move on. But it's like, when I was saying this to people in Miami, it was like, what? Literally, I got approached at the beach. I was at Miami Beach and someone approached me and was like, oh, well, what are you mixed with? First of all, where's hello, hi, how are you? No, but they jumped to, what are you mixed with? I was very fucking confused, and I was honestly annoyed because I hate questions like that. I genuinely hate them. And I was like, I'm Haitian, I'm black. Because that's what I tell people all the time. And that's never in New York. That's never an issue. People, again, it's like, end of conversation, move on. He was like, no, that can't be possible. There has to be more. You have to be mixed with other things. And he went on and proceeded to tell me how in Colombia, there's women who look exactly like me, but they're not black, and they would never identify with being black. I'm like, that sounds like a personal issue, and I don't really know what to tell you.
I've been seeing quite a few videos circulating about racism in Miami, and I feel like everybody is talking about, you know, racism going to certain restaurants, to certain clubs, that sort of thing, like entertainment wise, but nobody talks about the racism in Miami as far as working in Miami. Okay, I told this story years, like 3 years ago on TikTok when it happened, but I didn't have the platform that I had now. But let me tell y'all about my experience working in Miami and the racism that I experienced. I only lasted 2 days at this job. 2 days. So it's 2021. I got a job at the cosmetic company store, which is a store owned by Estee Lauder. They basically sell all Estee Lauder brands. So like Bobbi Brown, Smashbox, MAC, Too Faced, Clinique, Tom Ford, basically any stuff that didn't sell like in the department stores at their actual stands or limited edition stuff, they would sell it at the cosmetic company store as a discount. At a discount. So they're opening a new store in Dolphin Mall. And if you know anything about South Florida, Miami, Dolphin Mall is an area that is pretty much Hispanic territory. Almost everybody in that area is going to be Hispanic. So I get this job. The first day, we're literally just setting up the store, okay? So we really didn't interact. We're just putting everything on the shelves. Now, my second day, because I was in school at this time, so I could only work certain hours, so I didn't get the whole full thing. So my second day is actually the grand opening of the store, and I'm working as a closer. So I get there and I'm kind of shadowing the manager because I really don't know what to do because I couldn't come in the daytime to train. So they told me, oh, the store is 30% off today. So the manager, she's a Cuban lady. She is bringing somebody out and she does not apply the discount. Mind you, this person is black. So I'm like, hey, the discount, it's 30% off. You have to apply it. And she kind of like shooed me off or whatever. She just ignored me. And so after the people left, I'm like, oh, is the discount only if they spend a certain amount? Because this lady had literally only bought one thing. And she goes, oh, no, I just forgot to apply the discount. Mind you, I told the lady. And I was like, noted. Second thing, at the store, to prevent resellers, you are not allowed to spend more than $1,000. They were letting people come in, resellers, and just do multiple transactions. All of these people are Hispanic. This Asian lady comes in basically trying to do the same thing. They tell her, no, it's only one transaction per person. You can't just switch your card or do different transactions. So the lady comes back with her daughter. The daughter comes in and tries to make the purchase, and they're like, oh, she doesn't look like she's old enough. You have to be at least 16 to make a purchase here. Be so serious. That is not the rule. Like, y'all are making up stuff. So whatever the case, after some back and forth, they ended up bringing up the lady. And then the Hispanic lady, as soon as she leaves, she looks at me, a different one from the first lady, and she goes, did you see that Chinese lady come in here and try to buy everything up? And I'm just like, yeah, just like everybody else did. The hell? Now the final straw was when they tried to accuse me of stealing. That's when I knew, okay, this is some racism. Now, if you're from Miami, you probably know this is how the Hispanics there are, but I'm not from Miami. I'm from Jacksonville, so Jacksonville is country, child. But anyways, so a black couple comes in. Nobody goes over to help them. I'm preoccupied. Nobody goes over to help them. Eventually, I get done, and I go over to help this couple. So I'm helping the wife. I help her pick out foundation, concealer, blush. I get her the whole shebang, right? They check out, and then her husband comes back, and he was like, thank you so much. He did it in front of everybody because he peeped the same thing I peeped, and he gave me a tip, y'all. So he gave me a tip. At the end of the day, we're counting down the drawer. Well, the other lady's counting down the drawer, and she looks at me, and she says, the drawer is short. How much did that man give you earlier? Didn't that man give you some cash that you put in your pocket? No, you didn't, lady. Like, no, you freaking didn't. So I said, let me count the drawer. Let me count the drawer. I count the drawer. Not only is it not short, it's actually over. It's over. And she was like, oh, I must have just miscounted. No, ma'am, you didn't miscount. You're racist. You're freaking racist. You was going to probably pocket the extra money, right? So I ended up calling HR the next day, and I was like, listen, I can't work for no company like that. I cannot work in this type of environment. I went to the store the next day during my shift. I went, put my key in an envelope, and I left a note that said, this ain't gonna work. Okay, they was calling me, texting me, all this extra stuff. I called HR or whatever, and the HR people, I don't know what they did because I quit, but they were like, that's unacceptable. Like, it got escalated to somebody else, and that person called me, and they're like, we're going to try to find another store for you to work at under Estee Lauder, blah, blah, blah. They ain't never do that. But Miami is, if you're not in the right parts, I've learned the areas that I need to stay in, because if you get too far in Latinos for Trump, very much racist.
For those of you that are saying Miami is not racist, let me break down what I've been through so you can understand that Miami's not overtly racist. It's a little bit more hidden and harder to see. So, I was once hired to be an atmosphere model for Mr. Jones. I was paid $1,000 to go to this club, sit down, be at this event, look cute, and leave. Now, in the room, I was one of 3 black women in a space that had maybe 500 people. So we were there to meet the quota, the right ratio of black women that was okay for that night. Now, I was getting paid. I was not really part of the event. I was just there. About 2 weeks later, I met with a promoter, and he's like, hey, let's hang out, and then afterwards we're gonna go out to the club, blah, blah, blah. I was outside at the time. I said, all right, cool. So I'm with myself and another one of my girls. We pull up to Mr. Jones, and I see him talking back and forth with the promoter. I'm really cool with him, and he comes back and he's like, yeah, he says there's too many black girls in our crew. So outside of myself, there was about 5 other black women I didn't know, but they were attractive black women, different sizes, different complexions, etc. We were denied entry. Okay, so this is the part of Miami where I say I'm the same person that was paid to be in the establishment to meet a requirement of people that was turned away weeks later because there was too many black people in my crew. Now, Mr. Jones is one of those spaces where if you go on their page at the time, this is about a year ago or 2, you saw white and Hispanic women and you saw black men that as long as they were famous, that was fine. That is what happens in a lot of clubs in Miami, especially South Beach, especially affluent clubs, especially clubs that are not necessarily catering to a black crowd. They may have a black night. You know what night to go to live. You know what night to go to certain clubs to see your people, to hear your music. Now, some people are like, it's not a big deal. And some people say that's a big deal because this is 2025. But hey, is that considered racist to you or not? Or do you just not care about the well-being of black women, which, hey, join the line.
Guys, I hope you have all watched the whole clip. Yeah, I hope you have all watched the full clip. We all have seen these people living in Miami saying that racism is still in Miami. We all had seen these people are trying to tell us, black people who are planning to go to Miami, that Miami is not a country for black people. What they're trying to show us is that racism is still in America. What they're trying to tell us, and they're trying to prepare us mentally, is that when you're applying for your visa and you're going to Miami, you should be prepared to be discriminated. You should be prepared to be isolated, because in Miami, majority of the number are whites, and these people are do not associate with black people. This is one of the reasons why these people are coming out and advising us, so that we should make decisions kindly. We should not make a decision that we will regret. So we all have seen, they are saying if you want to meet blacks, it will reach a point that you will have to Google places where blacks are found in Miami, which that's not a good thing, because ever since black are being discriminated, and in this 21st century I thought that this thing would have ended, but it's still there. And as black people, we should start being united to stop racism. Tell me why we're still discriminated because of our color. Tell me why. And our color is, this is just a color. We are not, this is not a sickness that we will say that when you touch somebody, that person will get sick, or that person will turn to black. We, this is just a color, but we are just same. It's high time we stop racism, and it's high time we hold each other's hand and fight for our rights, because I thought in this century we are not supposed to be fighting over racism, because our ancestors fought for that, and we are not supposed to be fighting over that again. We are supposed to be past that. We are supposed to be thinking about growing our countries. We are supposed to be thinking about how we are growing as a country, or as the world. We are supposed to be thinking about that. I think racism has become one of the biggest problem in the world. Blacks are being discriminated all over, and I think we have been silent for the longest time, and it's high time we come up again. They are treating us as trash because we are silent. They are treating us as nobody because they feel like we cannot do anything. They treating us like we are dumb because we are not speaking out. But we it's high time we stand up for ourselves, because these people are using us and taking us as fools, taking advantage of us because we are silent, so they can do anything they want, so that they can make decisions that they want. We are supposed to stand up and fight for our rights. We are supposed to wake up, because we are sleeping. We are supposed to wake up from our comfort zone and start fighting for our rights, guys. As black people, we are supposed to live anywhere in the world, because we all know blacks are the people who fought for independence. We are not supposed to be treated as trash. We are not supposed to be treated as foolish, as idiots, as stupid people in the society. Because we are important. It's high time we hold each other's hands, we unite, and fight for our rights. So we all know Miami is a, but I am proud of these black people who are coming out and speaking to us and telling us and preparing our minds that when we go to Miami, this is what we'll find there. These people are preparing us mentally, they are preparing us psychologically. Like, I'm proud of these people, because we are not just silent. We are coming up so fast. We are trying to communicate to those people who are planning to go to Miami, or these people who are planning to go to those western countries, that this is what is happening to those western countries, and we really appreciate what these people are doing. We really love, because you are caring for your brothers and sisters back home. You are trying to protect your brothers and sisters back home by informing them what they will experience, so that when they decide to make that decision, they should not blame anyone. They should not come up back and regret. So let's fight for our rights, guys. Let's fight for the black people's rights. And if it was for the first time you're coming across my video, kindly don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and even comment. Bye.